Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator, and welcome back to somewhere in Southern Oregon, Northern California. I suppose we could just take a look. Yeah, that'd be easier. So let's back up here. Neither of the two. We're midway between Nevada and California. Nevada. They do get fired up about that. Right. Yeah, coming down from somewhere in Oregon, are we not? Man, I don't know. Been doing a lot of gaming lately. Let's drive. We just slept. Let's get her going. So, yeah, we don't need that. We do need those. Brake is off. And in fact, you know what? I just hopped in here and we need to hop out because we're going to back up and hook up. Right. How's everybody doing? How's your Saturday? I hope it is fantastic. It's Friday for me. We are expecting an ice storm, a winter mix where I am. So we'll see how that goes. TBD, yo. Kind of up in the air at this point. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Are you seeing this render? Are you seeing it? Let me tell you about that as we get going. There's been some developments in my world. There's been some... oh, man. It's always something. But yeah, man, look at that render. Look at it. Oh. Yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm happy about that. I'll tell you why in a second. Just ignore that curb. You didn't even see that. That was all broken when I got there. Right. So, put her in gear. Lights are on. In we go. Map is off. First gear. Beautiful. So, what's going on with the render? Well, I'll tell you. So you know I'm on an i7 7700 HQ Kaby Lake. I love my little chipset, but it's in a laptop. I'm also on a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050, which I know is an economy card. But, you know, I worked in the motorcycle business for a while. I sold motorbikes. I sold exotic and boutique Italian motorbikes. It's a fantastic job. I loved it. But we had people coming in who weren't just looking for their first exotic. They were looking for their first... And when I say exotic, I sold Ducati, Aprilia, Bimota, Moto Guzzi, etc. They weren't like custom or handmade or anything. But that's pretty exotic. Those Italian bikes are pretty exotic, and they are lovely. They're very, very nice. They're not reliable, and they're too expensive, but they're very, very nice. So we'd have people come in that weren't just looking for their first exotic. They were looking for their first motorbike at all, right? Never ridden before, or they rode a dirt bike when they were a kid, or they had a little, 250 Shadow when they were in college or something. So people come in, they say, I want a motorcycle. All right, what kind do you want? I don't know. When you want a sport bike? Do you want a super sport? Do you want you want a touring bike? What are you after? I don't know. Red. I just want a red one. All right, well, fine. Let's pick you out a red one. But and you sort of have the same thing in mountain biking. When people get into mountain biking, it's like, I'm going to buy a mountain bike. All right, what do you want to do with it? I don't know. Ride it? Well, there's a lot of different things you can do. You can do cross country. You can do downhill. You can do all mountain. You're going to race. You're going to race cross country. You're going to race downhill. There's a lot of whatever. Well, if you're not a mountain biker, you don't know what kind of riding you like, but you can't do any riding until you get your own mountain bike, right? If you're getting on a motorcycle for the first time, you don't know how you want to ride. Do you just want to, putt around on the weekends, go down to the coffee shop, try to impress the ladies or fellas, depending on how you get down, that's fine. Or do you want to do, 300 and 400 mile trips every weekend, just go out and ride in a big 300-mile loop? Right? Do you want to tour? You want to do track days? I don't know. Never had a motorcycle before. I don't know what I want to do. So the point of all that is, I feel like gaming is kind of the same way when it comes to systems, is you don't really know. I mean, you can just go like balls to the wall from the jump, but until you really know what your needs are, you don't know what your needs are. But you can't find out what your needs are until you have some type of system to find out what your needs are with, if that makes sense. Right? Like, yeah, it's easy enough to just You know, oh, I want to, you know, I want two 1080 Ti's, an SLI, and I want a dodeca-core chipset, and I want, you know, I want all that stuff. Well, of course you do. Everybody wants all that stuff. But do you need that stuff, and how does it work in with your budget? So what I'm saying is, when I got my system, I got the smallest screen Omen that they were making at the time, which is a 15, and still is the smallest they were making. They make a 15 and a 17. I got a 15. Well, just by getting the 15, I was sort of out because I don't think they offered the 1080 card in the 15. I think the biggest you could get was a 1070, maybe. But you see what I'm saying. We've already got limitations when we go with the small screen, but I'm a portable gamer. I'm literally a portable gamer. So I needed the smaller screen. I wanted the smaller screen. And that limited the cards that I could get. And, you know, I knew I wasn't going to be playing Rise of Tomb Raider. I knew I wasn't going to be playing Witcher and, you know, Do X and just absolute card-crushing games. I knew I'd be on less graphically intensive games. So I went with the 1050, and when I compared the performance of the 1050 and the 1050 Ti and the 1060, I didn't think it was worth the money to bump up, but also, right, like the motorcycle shop, like the mountain bike store, until I knew what I knew, I didn't know what I knew. So I wanted to, you know what I mean? I didn't want to make a $1,000 error. Whoa. Okay, so this is that randomness that they were talking about. Now, can I get by there? Is that what they want me to do? Or is this a result of last episode? You remember last episode? We went around a roadblock. Oh, folks, I think we may be effed in the A right here. I don't know if we can sneak it past there. We're going to try, though. So, oh, Jesus. Yeah, that, when they had traffic blocked in, I guess we were leaving Reno. We're going to snag on that car, aren't we? We're going to make it. We're just touching. We're just bumping it. Oh. Yeah, when they had traffic blocked in Reno, I think that was our signal. Now, this is in 1.33 on ATS. I don't know if it's in 1.33 on ETS. Yeah. Sorry. There was no way to turn around, and I just don't feel good about driving 70 miles the wrong way on a freeway. But when they had traffic blocked in Reno, I think that was why. Okay, that's very interesting. They will let you go around the roadblock, but then you got to deal with it yourself when you get where you're going. Okay, very interesting. Well done, SCS. That is a fantastic ad. I love it. So, you see what I'm saying? I knew what I wouldn't be doing, but I didn't necessarily know what I would be doing, and I didn't want to buy too much system. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being future-proof, but I was on a budget. I didn't want to spend a lot of extra money to get a system that I wouldn't need. So, this has all come to a head with Farming Simulator, of all things. Farming Simulator 19, it is, oh man. It's an unoptimized console game piece of crap graphic nightmare. It's a shit show, man. It absolutely is. Like right now, we are at 60 FPS at night, lights on, with everything on high and a couple things on ultra. I go with these same settings in FS19 and I swear I'm at like 18 FPS. It is, oh man. So, I decided to overclock. And I know overclocking on a laptop is a little dicey. I mean, overclocking at all is not nearly as dicey as it used to be because there's so many more safeties on cards and chipsets and batteries and everything else. You know, by the way, if the screen goes black, it's because my computer exploded. But it's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. So I went ahead and got EVGA Precision, and we are at plus 250 on the core and plus 900 on the memory clock, and it is just buttery smooth and everything is fantastic, and we're capped at 60. Oh dear, we are capped at 60 in ETS ATS. We're capped at 60 in ATS. But we are like just banging on 60 like a rev limiter. We're fine. And here's what's fascinating. I was worried about heat, right? So I did all my benchmarks, and I am picking up about 10% with those two OCs. I'm picking up a 10% bump. Super happy about that. And but here's the fascinating thing: zero heat gain. I was running at 64 to 66 Celsius before the OC. I'm running at 65 to 67 Celsius now. I got approximately 1 degree of heat when I overclocked. And I think the reason is because this rig has the twin heat pipe system, and because it's configured for potentially bigger cards that are going to draw more voltage and push harder and make more heat. I feel like the cooling for this system is just overpowered, and so it's able to keep the card cool even when we're overclocked. And the other thing is, and then this is it kind of cuts both ways. Laptops are so detuned because of heating and warranty issues. If you have somebody build a laptop for you, it's not going to have a whole lot of safeties on it if you don't want them. But consumer products, particularly things that are warranted, and I got this at Best Buy, and I kept the receipt. So basically, like, all I need to do is walk back into a Best Buy, take it over to the Geek Squad, and say this doesn't work, and the manager will go get me a new computer off the shelf, or they'll give me a credit for it, or whatever I want to do. Because these units are disposable, and everybody knows it. It sucks because we pay money for them and we love them, but ultimately it's a disposable plastic appliance like a phone. And the landed cost of something like this is, I don't know, 70, 80 bucks. Really, it is. So, I don't know what Best Buy paid for it. I don't know what deal they have with HP, but seriously, the manager is just going to go get you a new one because it's cheaper for them to do that than it is for them to get into a whole warranty thing. And I don't mean like litigation. I mean like just the hours and the hassle involved in, it's like if your TV breaks, you take your TV in with the receipt. This broke. All right, here's another one. Thanks. So I feel like that's why they're tuned way down in that consumer setting, is to keep everything nice and cool and happy. But I feel like there's plenty of room. Well, clearly there is, because we're overclocked now and we're having no heat problems. But the 1050 was bottlenecking that chipset. It's a good chipset. I like it, and it's reviewed well, and it's good for gaming. It's just I got that. I hate to say it's a potato card because I love my little laptop. I love my little gaming laptop, but it's a bit of a potato. So now it's a baked potato. No, I don't like that. That was a dad joke. I don't like that at all. But either way, we are OC, and we are doing great. No issues with heat. Everything is super awesome. So very, very pleased about that. And the whole reason I did that is just for Farm Sim, but it doesn't help for one thing. That game is, oh man. Fix it in a patch. Giants, patch it up, because it ain't ready. It doesn't help. A 10% bump when you're having those kind of FPS drops, it doesn't really matter. 10% plus to 25 is 27. Great. But that's also really the only sim that I'm having any issues with right now. And arguably, it's the most recent AAA game that I have. Well, I don't even know if we're calling that a AAA game, but you know what I mean. I mean, Assetto Corsa Competizione is early access, so it's not optimized yet. That beats my system up pretty good, but everything else runs really, really well. So, I'm not sweating it either way. But this is a perfect excuse to pull the trigger on a new system. And, I've been talking about it. I've been thinking about it. But the goal would be to have that done before the first of the year. So, because overclocking is overclocking. And it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still something. So we're going to try to step up before the end of the year, which is really only 3 weeks away. Man, that is amazing. I can't believe it's been like 2 weeks since Thanksgiving. We got to get through Christmas. Holidays are not my thing, man. Not even close. So we'll get through the holidays, and it's the other nice thing. Oh, geez. Wrong button. It's the other cool thing about not having any family is I don't have to do a lot of Christmas shopping. So, but yeah, we'll get that going. And I mean, hey, shooting star, I'll make a wish. And the thing is, if I wasn't recording, I think I would be a lot happier. I'm not unhappy with my system at all, but I think if I wasn't recording, I would be a lot happier. But because I am recording, and because I am seeing the quality of the rendered videos when they make it, up to the tube, I'm just super aware of that quality, and I don't want to say I need to be. Yeah, I kind of need to be 1080p 60 FPS, and I need it to be a good 60 FPS. So I'm pleased with my system. If I was just, pour myself a glass of wine and do a little gaming, I think it would be a whole different thing. But because we're recording, and I don't want to say that's an excuse to upgrade. I mean, I don't really need an excuse to upgrade. But I feel like that's as good an excuse. Oh, Jesus. I'm taking a beating today. I feel like I just got dinged for that in ETS. My last ETS episode, I got dinged for a light like that. I mean, I can't jackrabbit it. That just seems unrealistic. But the yellow lights seem a lot shorter than they used to be. Anyway, I don't mind. I mean, I was gaming on a HP Pavilion non-gaming system, AMD with a Radeon card, and I don't even want to tell you what my frame rates were, but I didn't notice or care. I was just learning and having fun and getting back into gaming. Now, would I want to do that forever? Would I want to go back to that? No, absolutely not. But at the time, it was fine. So I feel like this is plenty for me. And now, to be fair, it's not future-proof because it is a 1050, and 1050 came out in 2016, I want to say, late 2016, early 2017. 18 months is about all the life you get out of a graphics card cycle, and we're coming up on 2019. So, would it last forever? Is it future-proof? No, of course not. But nothing really is. The new, the RTX 2080s that are coming out, in a year or two, they will be obsolete, and people will, how can you possibly survive with that? So it's always a cycle, and we're always expected to buy a new product, and that's fine. That's capitalism. But it's also, we're seeing the evolution of our, what do you want to call it? Is this an art form? You want to go that far and call it an art form? Sure. Video games are a form of art, and we are patrons of those arts, and we participate, and when you want to participate in new games and the latest and the greatest, it's going to cost you some money. Wow, that is a good-looking sign. Look at that thing, man. Let me pull around the corner here. Oh, that is pretty. Nice lighting. That's part of the, I want to say it's the Real 3D Signs package. Real 3D Companies. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, let's get it pulled in here. 18 minutes. You know what? Let's go a shorter episode. We always go too long. Let's go a shorter episode. And what I'll do is, maybe I'll sleep here. And let's get rid of, we've been hauling around these owned trailers. Let's get rid of these owned trailers and do some, let's do some heavy haul. Not special transport, but let's just haul some heavier cargoes that you can only get if you pick them up from the dispatch. Right. Good money. I think we paid about $2,000 in fines, but we made 1,500 XP. There you go, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of American Truck Simulator. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.